and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, week 17, NFL football season, the last week of the regular season. Now, here it is, Christmas Eve. I want to say happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you out there. Hopefully you have some great holiday memories with your families this season. I know going to my in-laws like I do every year, hang out with the Pauls family. We have a good time. Good time is had by all. We do white elephant gifts. We do presents for the kids. Do presents for some people. We draw names sometimes. We've done all kinds of different traditions. We have an Italian theme, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, we do our thing tonight. Tomorrow's Christmas Day. Hopefully you spend time with your family. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching my videos this year. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're able to tune in. Now we're going to jump into week 16 results. 11-5 straight up picks, 9-7 against the spread, 7-9 on the over/under. As you all know, I've covered all 240 games of the 2018 NFL season to date. Straight up picks 163, 76, and 1, which is 67.9% on straight up picks. 113 and 127 against the spread. Over/under 120 and 120, so dead on 500. Overall picks at 55%. Not too bad. We got 16 games left of the regular season. Let's see if we can up that. Game 1, playoff implications on the line. Miami Dolphins 4-11 versus the 12-3 New England Patriots, the AFC East champions. Now, New England, they win, first round bye. If they lose, they need a Chiefs loss to retain the first round bye. In week 2, New England beat the Dolphins 43-0. Since then, yeah, I wrote something down. I'm saying my handwriting, whatever. Anyway, New England blasting in week 2, 43-0. New England's favored by 15.5 here. I don't think New England's got an issue. I think they win. They cover under on the 45. They are going for home field advantage. They get that bye week. Hopefully somebody's able to knock off Baltimore, so the AFC Championship game will be in New England. Otherwise, it is in Baltimore. Next up, we have two teams that aren't going nowhere this year. The 6-9 Cleveland Browns versus the 1-14 Cincinnati Bengals. Now, in Week 14, Cleveland won 27-19. Cleveland has 6 wins this year. They're hopefully get their 7th win. There was a 3-year period from 15, 16, and 17. They had 3 wins. No, they had 4 wins in 3 years. Now, the last time that the Cleveland Browns had back-to-back 6-win seasons or more. Last year they won 7. This year it's 6. The last time they had 2 back-to-back seasons, 6 or more wins in both seasons, 2001, 2002, the beginning of the century. 7 wins and 9 wins. Can they do it this year? Hopefully, back-to-back 7-win seasons. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of a casual Cleveland Browns fan. I'd take that. I lived through the rotten years of the St. Louis Rams. I'd take 2 7-7 seasons. Next up, we have the really no playoff. Oh, sorry, I didn't pick on that one. Cleveland favored by 3. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 45. Next up, a game that really doesn't have the playoff implications on it, but is a playoff team. We have the 6-9 New York Jets versus the 10-5 Buffalo Bills. The Bills have the 5th seed wrapped up. They can go up, they can go down. I don't think they have a reason to even try. I mean, this is a preseason game for them. You don't want anybody hurt going into the playoffs. So Buffalo won week 1, 17-16 versus the Jets. Buffalo's favored by 1.5. I'm giving the 1.5 to the Jets. I got the Jets winning, covering, and under on the 36.5. There's no reason for the Bills to try here. Don't get your players hurt. Maybe first half, get them out of there. Next up, we have a playoff team involved, but really nothing playoff on it as well. Chicago Bears 7-8 versus the 10-5 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are the 5 seed, so they will go to the 3 seed. No, they're the 6 seed, so they will go to the 3 seed. Whoever that is, more likely to be New Orleans. But whoever the 3 seed is, Minnesota will go there. So again, they have nothing to play for either. They can't up their position in the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter for them. Again, like Buffalo, it's a preseason game. Minnesota's favored by 1. I'm taking Chicago. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 37. This is the Week 4 rematch where Chicago won 16-6. Minnesota's a better football team now than they were in Week 4, but there's nothing to play for. Don't get the guys hurt. Get out of freaking Minnesota. Head to your playoff destination healthy. All right. Next up, we do have something on the line here. We have the 12-3 Green Bay Packers, NFC North champions, versus the 3-11-1 Detroit Lions. Green Bay is going for a first-round bye. First-round bye, they get a win or a New Orleans loss. Also, if a win and a San Francisco loss. So either if New Orleans or San Francisco loses, Green Bay can slide into first-round bye. Green Bay did beat Detroit 23-22 in Week 6. Green Bay's favored by 9.5. I got them winning. I got Detroit covering that 9.5. I think it's going to be kind of like a Week 6 game. Hopefully it's pretty close. No, it's not going to be 9.5, I don't think. And I'm taking over on the 41.5. Next up, hey, speaking of those New Orleans Saints, 12-3 NFC South champions versus the Carolina Panthers, 5-10. There's a 3-way tie for the first round bye. New Orleans, San Fran, and Green Bay. Seattle's right there as well, 1 game back. So these 2 teams played Week 12. New Orleans won 34-31. New Orleans needs a win, and they lost by San Fran or Green Bay to move up to a first round bye. Regardless, if they're the 3 seed, they would host Minnesota. Minnesota into the Who Dat Nation Superdome. We all know more than likely what the outcome of that game would be. So I think Minnesota would be rooting for New Orleans to get a first round bye. So they either go to San Francisco or Green Bay. Do you really want to go to Green Bay? But if you're Minnesota, you know Green Bay better than you know the Who Dat Nation. I'm picking New Orleans win. They're favored by 13. I got Carolina covering the 13 and over on the 47.5. Next up, we have the really nothing on the line game. We have the Atlanta Falcons 6-9 versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-8. Week 12, Tampa won 35-22. Tampa's favored by 1. I got them winning, covering over on the 48.5. Next up, we have out of the AFC South, we have the AFC South champions, 11-4 Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 5-10 now. Los Angeles Chargers next year, will they be in St. Louis? Will they be in LA? Will they be in London, Mexico City, Portland? Where are they going to be? Who knows? But in order for Kansas City to get a first round bye, they need a win and a New England loss. In Week 11, the Chiefs did beat the Chargers 24-17. Chiefs are favored by 8.5 at home. I got them winning. I got LA covering the 8.5. I hate the 8.5. 7.5 is just as bad. I'm taking under on the 46.5. I got the Chiefs winning. Next up, we have a team fighting tooth and nail to get into the playoffs in the 8-7 Pittsburgh Steelers, and a team that really ain't got much to play for, the 13-2 AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore has a first round bye. Pittsburgh is playing to get into the wild card. Week 5, Baltimore won 26-23 in overtime. Now, Pittsburgh needs a win here, and they lost by Tennessee to get that final playoff spot. What means more, fighting yourself to get into the playoffs or trying to knock your division opponent out of the playoffs? That's what Baltimore's point is. Do we want to stay healthy, not have what happened against freaking Cleveland and somebody rip off freaking Mason Rudolph's helmet and hit him with it and get him hurt? Or do we want to just, like you're Baltimore here, you just want to just, you know what? Let's just kind of roll through this, get to this game, stay healthy, get into the playoffs. So they get in the playoffs, they get in the playoffs. More than likely, they'll get beaten the first round. We ain't got to deal with them. Pittsburgh is favored by 2.5. I think the hunger and the fight to get into the playoffs will weigh out more. I'm giving Pittsburgh to 2.5. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 38. Now, Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, 8-7. The NFC East is still on the line versus the 4-11 New York Giants. Philly needs a win, or they need Dallas to lose. So, a win by Philly or by Dallas, and a Philly loss, Dallas win, Philly's out of the playoffs. Did you get all that? So pretty much Philly needs to win. If Philly does not win, they lose, and Dallas wins, Philly would be out of the playoffs. Yeah, craziness. Philadelphia beat the New York Giants 23-17 in Week 13 in overtime. I think the Phillies going to win. The Eagles are going to win. They're going to take the NFC East. I got the Phillies winning, covering the 4.5 and under on the 45. Speaking of them Dallas Cowboys, 3-12 Washington Redskins go into Dallas versus the 7-8 Dallas Cowboys. Dallas wins, Philly loses, Dallas makes playoffs. If Philly loses, they gotta hope the Dallas loses or they go home. The FBI says there's a 73.8% likelihood of Dallas missing the playoffs. So according to that, there's a 73% chance of Dallas losing this game. Or Philadelphia winning. Oh yeah, Week 2 Dallas beat Washington 31-21. We know what a dumpster fire Washington is. And New York, by the way. I think both teams win. Philadelphia makes playoffs. Dallas will win. Washington covers the 10.5 over on the 44.5. Dallas ends 8-8. They fired Jason Garrett. They start a rebuild. Jerry Jones hopefully decides to, you know what, I'm stupid, I'm stepping away. But he's not going to do that. They're going to bring in Oklahoma Sooners football coach to take over. He's going to be a puppet for Jerry Jones. They're going to finish 8-8 next year too. Next up, out of the NFC West, we have the Los Angeles Rams 8-7 versus the 5-9 Arizona Cardinals. Neither of these teams are going anywhere. Week 13, the Rams won 34-7. Now, win or lose, the Rams will be 500 or above. This is the first time they've had 3 consecutive seasons 500 or above since their Super Bowl run of the St. Louis Rams' greatest show on turf, 99, 2000, 2001. All 3 of those, they went above 500. They were like double-digit wins. 2 times Super Bowl, 1 win, 1 loss. This run, 3 seasons above 500, 1 Super Bowl appearance with a loss. The Rams are favored by 7.5. I actually had them covering the 7.5 and under in the 48.5. I think Sean McVay is going to spend the offseason retooling his offensive because I think people have kind of figured him out. And they're going to kind of retool everything and make sure that they're going to retool it. They're going to make sure that they kind of get a little newness to it and freshen it up for next year. Next up, we have the Oakland Raiders 7-8 versus the 6-9 Denver Broncos. Oakland is mathematically able to make playoffs. Highly unlikely. Oakland needs a win. They need a Baltimore, Houston, and Indy win. And a win by Kansas City or New England or Detroit or Chicago. Why Detroit or Chicago? That don't make any sense. That was stupid. I don't know why you told me that. Anyway, so they need a Baltimore, Houston, or Indy loss. And they win by either Kansas City or New England. And they need to win. So they're not making the playoffs. Denver 6-9. Oakland actually won Week 1 versus Denver 24-16. This is a different Denver team. They have Drew Lock as their quarterback now. Drew Lock is 3-1 as a starter. His only loss was to Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Okay. So you really don't want to count that. What the hell, I did my finger? I'm bleeding. I didn't even know it. Anyway. So I actually think Drew Lock could be the future for Denver. I got them winning, covering the 3.5 and over on the 41. The Oakland Las Vegas Raiders will not make the playoffs there last year in Oakland. Next up, we have another game that really means nothing. The 7-8 Indianapolis Colts versus the 5-10 Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 11, Indy won 33-13. I got Indy winning, covering the 3.5 and over on the 43. Next up, we have the 8-7 Tennessee Titans versus the AFC South champion, the 10-5 Houston Texans. Now, Houston wins, they can move up to the 3 seed, where they would face Tennessee, Pittsburgh, or Oakland. But they need a Kansas City loss. If Kansas City wins, Houston ends up the 4 seed, they're going to face Buffalo in the first round. So they're only, is that really, do you really want to work hard to make sure of that? Is it really? So you face Pittsburgh if you're a 3 seed, Buffalo if you're a 4 seed. Honestly, you'd rather be a 3 seed because you get the worst team, but you want to take a chance getting somebody hurt. Tennessee win or loss. Let's see. Tennessee can make the playoffs with a win, or a Pittsburgh or Indy loss. I think Houston's going to win here. I think they're going to go for that 3 seed. Tennessee's favored by 4. I'm giving the 4 to Houston. I got them winning, covering it under on the 45.5. And the game of the week, Sunday Night Football, we have the NFC West on the line. The 12-3 San Francisco 49ers going into Seattle to the Seattle Seahawks, who are 11-4. It's easy. San Francisco wins, NFC West champions, number 1 seed in the playoffs. Seattle wins, NFC West championship. To get to the number 1 seed in the playoffs, they need a loss by New England or Green Bay. Simple as that. Week 10, Seattle won in San Fran 24-27 in overtime. We all remember that game. That was San Francisco's first loss of the season. Came down the kicker. San Francisco kicker missed the field goal at the end of the game. Missed one in overtime as well. Have they got their kicking situation fixed? Now, here's a caveat to that. San Fran is 6-1 on the road. Seattle, as good as they've been at home over the years, they're 4-3 this year. Okay, so San Francisco favored by 3 on the road in Seattle. Jimmy G, let's do it. Jimmy G wins. Jimmy G covers the 3 points over on the 47. The San Francisco 49ers, NFC West champions, number 1 seed in the NFC, on their way to hopefully a Super Bowl appearance. Could it be? Could Jimmy G be that good? What is New England thinking right now? We traded Jimmy G. He's doing what we thought he'd do. He's doing what Sam Fran wanted him to do. Who replaces Brady? We'll see. So this is how, based on my picks, how the playoffs will run. AFC, Baltimore, New England, first round buys. Houston versus Pittsburgh. Kansas City versus Pittsburgh. Houston versus Buffalo. NFC side, San Fran and Green Bay, first round buys. New Orleans, Minnesota will be your 1 game, and Philadelphia and Seattle will be the other game. I'm going to make a prediction. No, we're going to do a playoff preview come Monday. We'll do all that Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to make a prediction right here. And y'all, if this happens, you can go back to this moment in time. It is December 24th, Christmas Eve, 12:35 p.m. I made a bold prediction. New England wins the Super Bowl over San Francisco. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick retire. Super Bowl 53, 54, whatever it is. Super Bowl, San Francisco versus New England. Mr. Brady wins. At the end of the game, Mr. Brady goes, I'm going to Disneyland. I'm retiring from the NFL. He goes out just like John Elway, back-to-back Super Bowls. On the sunset, Brady's last game will be Super Bowl this year. Bold prediction. Let's wait 2 months and see if it comes true. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content. Again, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone. To you and yours, enjoy your time with your family.